I know that I wasn't the only person who got a huge laugh out of Ro Khanna's recent publicity stunt in Israel. Yes, Congressman Ro Khanna, or his actual name, Rohit, born to Indian parents in Philadelphia. He's a second-generation immigrant. And I know a lot of people don't trust Wikipedia. I specifically recall hearing Count Dankula complain about it. Now, I like Count Dankula. He's funny. He's funny, and I like his accent. But his claim that you can't trust Wikipedia, I don't think that's true. And the reason is because even if he's correct, and that it's a bunch of hyper-leftist sort of things, the hyper-leftists don't think that they're wrong about anything. Even the most, they'll say the most absurd, batshit crazy thing that you can imagine, and they'll think that it's totally correct. So, considering that they're not capable of lying because they always think that they're correct, you could just let them tell their version of the truth, and it's totally suitable to your ends. For instance, this paragraph here, Ro Khanna was raised in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Khanna has said that his parents impressed on him the obligations of being a first-generation American-born citizen, which is a weird way to write that, the child of first-born American. He's a second-generation citizen. He has also said that summer visits to New Delhi helped shape his connection to his Indian heritage, and that conversations with his maternal grandfather were formative. Yes, so I think understanding all of the publicity stunts and all of the narratives and stuff that Ro Khanna performs, and also the understanding that he's a politician, and what matters to a politician is the amount of money they make and their legacy. And, well, it used to be that those two things were kind of separate, but now, especially because the Democrats are making the amount of money someone has a big deal, those two things are sort of the same thing. Now, I don't want to get too much into the money because this guy specifically counts himself as a capitalist, a democratic capitalist. So he's not like a lot of these Democrats claiming socialism. So I'm not going to hammer him too much on the fact that both him and his spouse, Ritu Ahuja, are... First of all, he married an Indian woman, even though he lives in the USA, which happens so frequently, isn't it? These immigrants marry people who are just like them. Really weird how that keeps happening. They're both rich. Yeah, even his spouse's family are rich. They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. But again, capitalists, okay? So putting aside how many of Californians congressmen, I think it's over 20, are all multimillionaires, putting aside how much money all these politicians make, because if you're going to be a politician and you're actually going to make the country a better place, I don't care if you're making money. That's fine. Cool. Good for you. It's a capitalist country. Whatever. As long as you're not cheating. Now, he is being accused of a lot of insider trading. I don't know nothing about that, so I'm not making any accusations. But what I do think is funny about this Wikipedia thing is that his parents are apparently telling them, as a second generation, or as they put it, a first generation American-born citizen. I don't know if that's supposed to make it sound better. It just makes it sound confusing. A second generation immigrant. He has obligations to America. What those obligations are, I'm not exactly sure. But then again, they say that he goes to New Delhi every summer, or did as a youngling anyway, and that his talks with his maternal grandfather were formative. Well, his maternal grandfather, right there, as you see, Amarnath Vidyalankar. Well, who is that exactly? Well, that would be this man. An Indian politician, social worker, and journalist. He was involved in the independence movement and became a member of Indian National Congress before India's independence on 1947. After independence, Vidyalankar served as a Minister of Education, Labor, and Languages in the government of Punjab, and then a member of the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Lok Sabhas, which is some sort of House of the People Indian government thing. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't care. Another thing that's important to look here is that this political career, the very first sentence in this guy's political career, after he completed his education, he plunged himself into the non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement was an anti-British thing. On the 4th of September in 1920, Mahatma Gandhi, had the Indians revoke their cooperation from the British government with the aim of persuading them to grant self-governance. So this was a anti-Britain India independence thing, which, again, I understand that. Of course, most of the time when people want to break away from colonialism, it doesn't go so well. India, I guess, is kind of like one of the better examples. But the point is that we have Ro Khanna taking his summers as a child, as a young adult, I don't know, going to India to partake of India, to be colored by India, not America, but India. His summers were not American summers, they were Indian summers. And he learned from his grandfather, who was a member of Indian Congress. So I think it's interesting that you have this man who's from India, or his family's from India, over here, rich out of their minds to begin with, and he's been taught by someone who's a member of Indian Congress. That's interesting. Like, it's not just some random guy, you know? It's not just Ro Khanna's not just some random dude, is what I'm saying. That's what the entire point of this is. He's not some random guy. He's a very rich man from a rich family who happens to have a grandfather who taught him about Indian politics. And he happened to go back to India every summer and happened to have Indian summers and learned about India and became in some way Indian. He's not just a dyed-in-the-wool American who happens to be of Indian descent. That's what I'm telling you here. Ro Khanna, married to Ritu Ahuja. It's the way it always is with immigrants. It's the way it always is with the descendants of immigrants either. Their children will probably marry Indian people as well. That's just the way it goes. Now, moving on to his Israeli stunt that he pulled.
Being in the West Bank and in Israel is the first time that I have really been acutely aware of being brown.
I highly doubt that, especially after going to India every summer.
I feel like people have seen me first as brown, second as an American congressman, and third as an American citizen.
Well, isn't that interesting? The Democrats crying racism.
I saw the arrogance in the eyes of those settlers, 21 and 22-year-olds with guns, laughing that they had detained us.
Yeah, of course. The very young men in a wartime era, running around with guns and such. Well, who would have thought that they would have been against the Democrat? What is it the Democrats always talk about again? Was it befriending Israel? Oh, no. It was bombing them out of existence, wasn't it? That's what the Democrats are always talking about. Yes. Now, maybe not the politicians, but the politicians are reflected by their people, by their constituents, the people voting for them, and the people voting for the Democrats. They're talking about nuking Israel and obliterating every man, woman, and child, aren't they?
Arrogance of those young IDF soldiers that my tax dollars are funding. Having no respect for the fact
my tax dollars, says the guy worth hundreds of millions,
that they were detaining Americans.
No respect for the fact that they were detaining Americans. Suddenly he cares about being an American. These Democrats are always pushing some anti-American narrative until their ass is on the pan, and then suddenly the heat gets turned up, and whoa. Don't you know that I'm an American? I get American privilege. Ooh.
No respect that there was an American congressperson in that bus.
And now it's not that he's just an American, he's an American congressperson. Interesting.
And laughing when our translator told them that there are Americans there and the American embassy is concerned.
Yeah, why should they care? Why should they care? Why should you care? Why should you care about these Palestinians is what I'm wondering. Why are you over there to see all these Palestinians, to see what's happened to them as a Democrat, as the party that wants to obliterate Israel? Why would you go there? Why would you go there knowing that there's going to be some sort of clapback from this? Something's going to happen. Well, obviously it's a publicity stunt, isn't it?
It is the arrogance of power, of a power that has had no accountability, total impunity, and has created a toxic culture of oppression.
A toxic culture of oppression created by power. Well, they do have nukes, last time I checked. But then again, so do a lot of people. So if you're going to say that everyone with nukes is power, then, well, first of all, that applies to you. And also, I mean, what do you want to do about this, dude? You've gone to a foreign country and told them that they have to respect you because you're brown and an American congressman and an American. And meanwhile, your party wants to obliterate them. Arrogance? Talk about arrogance.
What people in America are asking is, are you so bought and sold by the establishment and political donors that you cannot see human injustice?
Yeah, I don't think he cares about human injustice. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't think that this Indian-born American citizen worth hundreds of millions, I guess, a congressman in California of all places, I don't think he cares about human injustice. I think that he's using this as a way to get votes, as a way to establish his legacy, as a way to make money, as a way to make fame for him and his family. That's what I think he wants to do. That's what I think all of these people want to do. And by the way, the right wing's not much different here. You do have good people here and there on the left or right, but That's not why politicians do crap like this. They don't really think that they need to go to foreign countries and stick their fingers in everyone's pie for the sake of altruism, being a good person. It's not just philanthropy and charity for them. No, 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 no. That's not why they're doing it. And we will double back on that later on when he's talking about USAID and Elon Musk and all of that crap that he was popular about, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when he was in the news for that as well. It's funny how all these Democratic politicians just suddenly blow up to being celebrities once they start making insane accusations, and then they meet their sudden end. I guess AOC's held on a little bit longer than most. Maybe that's because she's a woman, I don't know. But most of them, like Plattner, like Tallarico, well, eventually they fumble the ball. It doesn't take very long for most of them because their claims are totally absurd. I mean, it's just a matter of time. And speaking of claims, Ro Khanna has just made a bunch of claims about what the IDF has done and the settlers attacking him or whatever. Well, apparently, according to other people, he was actually not telling anyone what he was doing. And normally, these people, the congressman or whoever it is, I mean, whoever of any importance is going over there to do something, normally they would tell people about it beforehand, because you can't just go wherever you want and say, whoa, 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 I'm an American. I'm allowed to. That's not how it works. And so he apparently went into a civilian militarized zone, and that's why he was detained. And after a whopping, I think, 75 minutes, the embassy finally got the IDF out there. I know he's acting like he was detained for days. After like 75 minutes, I think they said, the IDF came out and then he was released or something like that. And he's trying to spin it one way. Other people are trying to spin it one way. I don't know who exactly is telling the truth. I certainly wouldn't expect Israel to be completely honest about something like this if it's made them sound bad. But this guy went out there for a reason. You know, was it really altruism? I don't know. But here's Mike Huckabee on it.
You think Ro Khanna was going to be killed by the IDF?
That's absurd.
U.S. ambassador to Israel, by the way, is what's written under Mike Huckabee's name.
It's ridiculous. And here are some facts that maybe Ro Khanna doesn't want us to tell you. First of all, he did not let us know he was coming. Most of the time, a member of Congress, if they're coming to the country, they coordinate with us. They let us know they're coming. We make sure that there is security. He didn't want our assistance because he came at the invitation and under the guide of this very pro-Palestinian activist who is known for regularly trying to take people into provocative situations.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going to go on like that. I don't want to use their entire short for this, but he contacted someone, this pro-Palestinian, whatever. It probably is a Palestinian person, so of course they're pro-Palestinian. But he contacted someone who guided them to a hotspot where they could do something and film something and then say, look, America, look at what your money is going to. It's the evil Israelis. They've detained even a sitting congressman. And look, my skin is brown. So you know that also means that they're racists, right? It's clearly a political stunt. No matter how you look at it, it's some sort of political publicity stunt. You just can't look at it any other way, because the other way is to assume that this guy worth so much money is really altruistic. But if he's worth so much money, how is he altruistic? Like, I thought all the socialists were supposed to give all their money away, right? You know, I know he's not a socialist. I said that, but the Democrats, they're very quickly shifting to a specific narrative, and that narrative will one day mandate that every Democrat is a socialist or a communist or whatever. Soon enough, they're not going to tolerate the rich people like this guy, Ro Khanna. They're not going to tolerate rich people like Bernie Sanders, even the tiny amount of money he has. Eventually, there will come a time when eat the rich, except for Taylor Swift. She's a girl, so you don't have to attack her. She's allowed to be rich. Eventually, there will come a time when that doesn't fly anymore. When you have to put everyone to bed the same way, and certain people don't get their special advantages. Taylor Swift, Ro Khanna, you're not going to have people getting their special advantages just because of certain things. And I don't think some of these people realize that. You're not going to be able to keep all of your money and stay on the Democrat side. That's not how it's going to work. You don't get to be gay and be on the Democrat side because they're siding with Islam and Islam wants to decapitate you. That's, you know, you don't get to be a hooker and dress like a hooker and be the party of hookers and have all of your women walking around naked and have Islam come over. That ain't how it's going to work. You've got to realize at certain points that you don't get to keep the life you have and be a Democrat. That your life has to completely and totally change. And some people's lives are going to change real fast. Like, for instance, after they make totally outrageous, insane claims of, I would say, defamation towards other people. Ro Khanna is one of those. Elon Musk wants me in prison. I want him under oath. The richest man in the world announced that he has plans to sue me and call for my arrest. I will not be intimidated. Yeah, he didn't announce that he had plans to sue you and called for your arrest, though. That was a response to you claiming that he was guilty of genocide, specifically the genocide of children. You can see here on Ro Khanna's Substack that he's just gone off on a monologue about how evil Elon Musk is. Now, there's a lot of replicated links here. He links to the same interview over and over again, which would be this one with Jennifer Welch.
And I do believe that once we take power, there has to be accountability. There needs to be accountability for.
Yeah, the Democrats love that. They love the thought that, and this is actually one of the main things that gets the Democrat politicians voted. They love the thought that they're going to vote for someone who's going to punish all of the people that they dislike. It's kind of like how religious people tell themselves that evil people will be punished by God in the afterlife. So they can sort of like let things slide because they know that justice will happen to them eventually. And that's basically the Democrats' version. They vote for certain politicians on the promise that they're going to get in power and they're going to unmask all of the ICE agents and they're going to punish them all. Ridiculous.
For Elon Musk, they're celebrating that he created 4,400 millionaires, but they don't talk about the 4.5 million children around the world who he possibly sentenced to death.
He possibly sentenced them to death. Well, in his Substack here, he says the same researchers project that gutting the agency Doge could cause more than 14 million additional deaths by 2030, including 4.5 million children under the age of 5. When did Doge gut USAID? Was that 2024? And these children are under the age of 5, and the deaths are coming by 2030. So they weren't even alive. Really? They weren't even alive. Well, you know what? I care less about children in foreign countries who have not even been conceived, let alone born, let alone died, than I do about my own country. And I'm willing to bet that a second-generation immigrant, painted in the colors of India, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, doesn't care about these people either.
By dismantling USAID. He needs to answer for that. He needs to be subpoenaed. He needs to face investigation. He needs to answer for what he did with Doge. That it's not just let's move on. And we will use the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee to hold people accountable who violated the law on ICE and abused power with ICE, who violated the law in killing people on boats in the Caribbean, who violated the law when it came.
Again, more anti-America. It's always an anti-America spin with Democrats.
Came to Iran and some of the strikes, who violated the law with Doge. There will be accountability. There needs to be accountability.
We promise you, if you vote for us, we will hurt all of the people that you have been told by Reddit that you should dislike. That's what's going to happen if you vote for us.
For reconciliation. And certainly there are voices like Robert Garcia, Jamie Raskin, myself, who are for aggressive oversight and investigation, including of the
I don't know why I cut off there at the end, if they censor that or whatever. That's right. So you vote for them and they swear to you that they will find all of the people that you have been told not to like and they will punish them. That's the narrative. They have they don't care about what they're doing. They don't care about foreign countries. They don't care about the Epstein files. They don't care about ICE. They care about getting votes. That's obvious. Now, going back to his Substack here, it would appear that he's shocked that Elon Musk was riled by him accusing him of genocide, of 14 million additional deaths on top of whatever it previously said, including 4.5 million children under the age of 5. I love that they had to specify under the age of 5 so that you really knew just how bad it was. Because if they were 6, like, who cares? 6 years old, I don't care about that. I'm surprised they didn't mention that they were girls, too, just to really pull at the heartstrings. Well, that part's what set him off, apparently. Elon Musk should sit before the House Oversight Committee and testify under oath about what he did. That's what set him off. Now, I think it was the defamation that set him off. I think that's what it was. Not your demanding that he be forced to testify. He then tries to make himself sound like a hero, saying that he's a member of the committee he's forcing him to testify under, calling him to testify under. Says it's his responsibility to call him to testify. And okay, sure. Did you need to accuse him of genocide in order to call him to testify, though? Was that a requirement for it? I mean, you could have worded it in any kind of way you wanted, right? You could have said that there is a suspicions that that Doge did something wrong under the oversight of Elon Musk and that he's culpable in it. But instead, you specifically worded it in a way that was sort of, it was really just defamation, wasn't it? And then, of course, the narrative spins very suddenly. He could have shown up and made his case. He could have argued the study was wrong. Instead, he called me an evil liar. Well, isn't that arguing that you're wrong? And there's the tweet of Elon Musk saying he's such an evil liar. And when that did not work, he reached for something uglier than the truth, I guess. He announced he would sue me. He would call for my arrest, and he said that I belonged in prison. You see here he has the tweet, "Time to sue this liar," followed by him saying yes to the thing about him suing him. And then lastly, the standard applied to Doge was very simple and easy. "Please provide contact information for the recipient of aid so that we can confirm it's not fraudulent." The reality is that money was being sent to corrupt politicians under the guise of aid. Liars and stock inside traders like Roe the Robber should be in prison. So he's accusing him of insider trading and stuff there. Again, I don't know anything about that, but I would presume someone with more insight would know. And presumably Elon Musk would be one of those people. Now, what does Roe do in response to this? He says, "Sit with that for a moment. The richest man in human history," which isn't quite accurate, "answered a request to testify by trying to put the person who asked behind bars." You didn't ask him to testify, though. You defamed him. That's why he's saying to put you behind bars. This guy worked as a lawyer, by the way, as far as I can understand, a pro bono lawyer in California. Someone confident he did nothing wrong shows up and clears his name. Elon Musk is doing the opposite because he genuinely believes the law does not apply to him. I don't really think that's what he's thinking. I'm thinking that he's probably sitting there saying, "Oh, hang on. This guy's defaming me. I can sue the living crap out of him because I don't like him. And also, I'm rich, so I can do that, in fact." I mean, loads of people would, they'd love to sue all these people. I would absolutely love it. And I actually was hoping for this when Elon Musk complained about r/white people Twitter. I was hoping that more people in power would start to hammer down on all of the crap that's going on the internet. And in a way, that is happening, but it's happening through censorship. I, on the other hand, want people to just sue. I mean, just sue them for defamation. Make the process of suing for defamation easier, and that way everyone can do it. That's what I wanted to see, and I'm happy to see this. A congressman, a rich congressman who's complaining about another person's wealth is getting targeted by Elon Musk, and they are immediately cowering. "Oh, I can't believe I said that. Oops, I made an oopsie." Yeah, you did. You made an oopsie. You defamed the richest man in the history of the world, according to you, by claiming that they were guilty of murdering millions of children under the age of 5. They then talk about how it's meant to scare people and bury it all under litigation, but it won't scare him. No, not Ro Khanna. It's not going to scare him. He swore an oath. Elon Musk has never had to reckon with me. I don't take a dime of corporate PAC money. I don't take money from corporate lobbyists, and I don't take a cent from IPAC. Yeah, you're rich. Like, why would you even need to? I ran for Congress to fight for the America the elite stepped on. Oh, really? Then why are you talking about USAID helping a bunch of starving Africans? Why are you talking about Israel and Palestine? I thought, wait, hang on. I ran for Congress. Let me just highlight that. I ran for Congress to fight for the America the elite stepped on, to make billionaires like him finally pay their fair share. Ooh, Bernie Sanders, that's interesting, coming from a rich person who married a rich person, and to put this government back on the side of ordinary Americans. Well, there we go. All we needed were immigrants coming over and telling us how our country should be run. Rich immigrants coming over, destroying our rich immigrants from other countries to make America right again, to make America whole again. I'm not believing it, but I do believe this. I am not going away. I do believe that. They love to say that. The Democrats love to proudly beat their chest and talk about how they're never going to go away. I do like the word remigration. It's getting more appealing to me every time I hear it. He then goes on to whinge about some cabal of elites, the Epstein class, and so on and so forth, and says, "Here's my answer to Elon Musk. I have already challenged him to a televised debate on the rule of law." Mind you that Ro Khanna is apparently a lawyer, so he's challenged him to something that's his specialty, and I don't know. Is Elon Musk a lawyer? I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of weird to do that. Would you challenge someone who's presumably not a lawyer to a debate on the law when you're a lawyer? It just seems like a really cheap kind of way to win, don't you think? On the other hand, I think Elon Musk can afford some lawyers, so why not just rule it out in the courtroom? You've challenged him on the rule of law, right? Come testify before the Oversight Committee and answer under oath. Well, the courts have oaths too, the way every other person who has held this kind of power has had to. Well, again, is not the court holding you under oath? Is that not the rule of law? Apparently, our courtrooms are not the rule of law, according to Khanna, who seemed to backpedal on this really quickly the second the laser was on his forehead. Now, this is the New York Times article that Khanna linked in his Substack as part of his evidence for all of the people who were dying. It's got a darkened screen because they want me to pay for a subscription to read it. I don't need to read it, Nicholas Kristof, because, first of all, it says opinion at the top of it, which means that it's not really proof of anything. Isn't that interesting? Opinion. Ooh, well, I guess it's not actually proof of anything, but more importantly, the title, U.S. Aid Cuts Killed People. That's the truth. The truth is that the USA is not the world's piggy bank. It is not the world's hospital. It is not the world's orphanage. We do not have the power or the money to keep all of the evil people at bay and also provide for all of the third worlders who can't do anything for themselves. The USA can't do that. The reason we have created things like USAID is obviously to export soft power. These people have said that they don't even want us doing this. Ambassadors and informants alike, delegations from all of these countries in Africa, like the tippity top of the iceberg, have said USAID's not great for them. And if you look at what USAID's done, it's not a great track record. It's criminal stuff abound, and the people behind it are very shadowy, to say the least. So why exactly are the Democrats getting behind this so readily, even though what it actually is so obvious? I guess it's just because the Democrats, the voters, are willing to back anything so long as it's anti-Trump. And this is, I guess, anti-Trump since Doge cut it, and Elon Musk was put in place by Trump. So they're willing to back this up despite the truth of it. And the truth of it is that it's not actually killing people. It's not helping people to begin with. The U.S. is not doing this out of any kind of altruism. And the people, the rich people like Khanna, they're not doing it for altruism either. So let me end on this, which he posted only 4 hours ago.
I am voting yes on the Massey Amendment to zero out all aid to Israel. This includes zero aid for offensive or defensive weapons. I just don't see how the United States can support aid to a state that has committed genocide. And frankly, I do not see how we can continue to support a state that detains Americans and an American congressman like me.
Like me. Oh, there you go. Well, I'm pretty sure the USA gave billions to Japan immediately after World War II. And Japan did a lot more than commit genocide on other countries. Oh, they did bad things to other countries. They also did bad things to our country. So we gave them billions of dollars. We built up a friendly relationship with them. And, here they are, a well-established country that everyone respects, except for maybe China and probably South Korea, I guess, as well. But like Germany, we have a good relationship with Germany, as good as it can possibly get considering the circumstances. British burned down our White House at one point. We had some ties to cut with Britain, don't you think? And we're friendly with the UK. God, we're even friendly with France, I think. Like, I'm not exactly sure to what end, but somehow still even friendly with France. The thing is, this is all nonsense. Oh my God. One country on the planet did something that we don't like. Well, we're the world police, so we have to step in and make sure things are right. No. It's just a politician demanding votes. How dare they arrest him? American Congressman Khanna, an Indian trained by his grandfather who is an Indian congressman, a rich Indian complaining about how rich people in America are making America worse, complaining about how our guns end up in the hands of our allies. Oh no, the Israelis had an M4. Well, that's just the proof that Americans are evil. After all, they detained this congressman. We have so many congressmen. Do you think they knew who this guy was? Do you think they knew who he was? I don't think they knew who he was. I don't think they cared who he was, but I also don't think they knew who he was. And you're going to sit there and say, well, look at me, I'm a congressman. They don't care. They don't care. You're a Democrat. To start with, you want to annihilate them. You're literally campaigning on that. Why the hell wouldn't they laugh at you? Why wouldn't they detain you? I'm surprised they didn't do worse. Unless it really was a publicity stunt and they were all in on it, in which case I'm not surprised they didn't do worse. The point is, don't believe Khanna, and don't believe anyone Anyone, whether it's some white liberal or some foreign bastard who comes over and tells us that our country is run the wrong way, they have their own country to go to, don't you think? So you could tell me he's a second-generation immigrant if you want to, but his history seems to suggest that he's not exactly in the favor of America. It's just a way to get votes, a way to get money, a way to make legacy. It's what they always do, and they always end up rich. They always end up famous somehow. What a mystery, isn't it? Khanna, everyone. Rohit Khanna, everyone. What a mystery. Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do the YouTube things.